I died choking on my own blood, the taste of betrayal as sharp as the knife that plunged into my gut. One moment, I was Eden Harper, the golden girl of the Harper dynasty, toasting to family legacy in our Hamptons estate. The next, I was sprawled on the marble floor, my brother Marcus's face twisted in smug triumph above me, whispering, "You were always too trusting, sis." But death isn't the end, it's a goddamn reset button. And as my eyes snapped open in that same body, 15 years younger, heart pounding in a dorm room at Yale, I knew, this time, I'd bury them all before they buried me. The fluorescent hum of the dorm lights buzzed like a swarm of angry hornets as I bolted upright in my narrow twin bed, sheets tangled around my legs like restraints from a past life. Sweat soaked through my Yale t-shirt, the one with the faded blue bulldog I'd worn that fateful night, the night Marcus had lured me to the family boathouse with promises of reconciliation. My hands flew to my abdomen, pressing against the flat, unscarred skin where the blade had once torn through. Nothing. No pain. No sticky warmth. Just the frantic thump of a 20-year-old heart, alive and furious. I stumbled to the mirror above the dresser, gripping the edges until my knuckles whitened. The face staring back was mine, but softer, cheeks still rounded from freshman weight, eyes wide with the innocence I now knew was a fatal flaw. Eden Harper, class of 2010, pre-law prodigy, heiress to a publishing empire built on my great-grandfather's pulp novels that had scandalized the nation in the Roaring '20s. Back then, I'd believed in the Harper myth, unbreakable bonds, old money shielding us from the world's grit. What a joke. Marcus, my charming older brother by 3 years, had always been the favorite, dad's shadow, mom's pet project. They'd whispered in corners, plotting how to edge me out, how my hysterical tendencies made me unfit for the throne. But I remembered every detail now, etched into my soul like a prison tattoo. The board meeting in 2025, where I'd uncovered the embezzlement, millions siphoned into offshore accounts by Marcus and his cronies, including my own husband, Liam, the snake I'd married for love. Blind, stupid love. They'd framed me for it all, forged emails, planted evidence of my affair with the CFO. The trial was a circus, tabloids screaming, heiress goes rogue, while mom testified with crocodile tears about my instability. Grandpa Harlan, the only one who ever saw through the bullshit, had tried to intervene. But a convenient heart attack silenced him 2 weeks before my conviction. And the execution? New York had reinstated capital punishment for white-collar crimes that bled the economy dry. A populist wave after the crash of '22. They called it justice. I called it vengeance, served cold. Strapped to the gurney, venom coursing through my veins, I'd locked eyes with Marcus in the observation room, his smirk the last thing I saw. "Don't expect anything," Mom had hissed during visiting hours, her manicured nails digging into my arm. "You're done. Now." Here I was, reborn in 2010, the year everything started unraveling. My phone, a clunky BlackBerry, vibrated on the nightstand. A text from Marcus. "Party at the frat house tonight? Bring that firecracker energy. Sis. Miss you." I hurled it against the wall, the screen cracking like my old illusions. No. This time, I'd play their game, but I'd rewrite the rules. I'd unearth the secrets they'd buried deeper than Grandpa's suspicions, the real reason Dad had drunk himself to death in '05. The accident that killed our aunt when she got too nosy about the family trusts. And Marcus? That golden boy with his Ivy pedigree and Wall Street dreams? I'd watch him crumble, brick by embezzled brick. I dressed quickly, jeans, a fitted blouse that screamed, approachable but ambitious, the uniform of a girl on the rise. No time for hysterics. I had classes to ace, connections to forge, and a lifetime of grudges to settle. As I slung my backpack over my shoulder and stepped into the crisp Connecticut autumn, leaves crunching under my boots like brittle bones, I felt the weight of two lives converging. This Eden wasn't the wide-eyed optimist who'd trusted too easily. This one had stared into the abyss of betrayal and come back spitting fire. The campus was alive with that electric buzz of early fall, frat boys tossing footballs, co-eds in Uggs and North Face fleeces hurrying to lectures. I spotted Liam across the quad, leaning against a lamppost, his dark hair tousled just so, that lopsided grin that had once melted me. God, he was young. We hadn't even started dating yet. In this timeline, he was just the poli-sci TA everyone whispered about. The one with the mysterious trust fund and eyes like smoked whiskey. I'd fallen hard in my first life, proposed after law school, built a life on sand. This time, I'd use him. String him along until he begged, then cut the line when he least expected. Eden, his voice carried over the chatter, warm and inviting. I forced a smile, the kind that didn't reach my eyes, and waved him over. Hey, stranger. Burning the midnight oil already, I teased, falling into step beside him. Up close, he smelled like cedar cologne and fresh laundry, innocent scents that masked the rot I'd later uncover. He laughed, rubbing the back of his neck. Just prepping for office hours. You heading to con law? Wouldn't miss it. Professor Hale's rants on Marbury v. Madison are basically foreplay for future lawyers. I kept it light, probing. In my old life, Liam had been the one who accidentally leaked those emails, the digital noose around my neck.
But why?
Greed? Or something deeper? Tied to the Harpers? We walked in companionable silence for a block, the spires of Harkness Tower piercing the sky like accusatory fingers. You okay? He asked suddenly, glancing sideways. You look intense. I nearly laughed. Intense? Try resurrected. Just family stuff. Marcus is in town, dragging me to some kegger. You know how brothers are, eternal pains in the ass. His eyes lit up. Marcus Harper? The lacrosse god? Dude's a legend. You should bring me along sometime.
Oh.
I will. I thought. Right into the lion's den. Maybe. If you play your cards right. By the time we parted at the lecture hall, I'd planted the first seed, an offhand comment about family secrets that made him tilt his head, intrigued. Good. Let him chase the mystery. I'd dangle it like bait. Class dragged, Hale droning about judicial review while my mind raced ahead. I needed a planned, methodical,
airtight.
Step 1. Infiltrate the family books. Grandpa Harlan was still alive in this era, sharp as a tack at 75, holed up in the Beacon Hill brownstone with his dusty law library and endless supply of single malt scotch. He'd always favored me, slipping me contraband copies of his old detective novels when Mom wasn't looking. Read between the lines. Eden, he'd say. That's where the truth hides. After lecture, I skipped lunch and hopped a train to Boston. The Acela hummed along the coast, waves crashing against rocky shores like my churning thoughts. What if I warned Grandpa too soon? No. Subtlety was key. Arrive as the dutiful granddaughter. Probe gently. Then drop the bomb when the moment ripened. The brownstone loomed on Chestnut Street, gas lamps flickering in the gathering dusk. A relic of Brahmin glory amid the hipster cafes creeping in from the South End. Mrs. Kowalski, Grandpa's ancient housekeeper, let me in with a flower-dusted hug. Miss Eden, he vast, just asking for you. Harlan Harper was in his study, pipe smoke curling like question marks from a leather armchair. He looked up from a dog-eared copy of the Maltese Falcon, his wire-rimmed glasses slipping down his nose. Well, if it isn't my favorite troublemaker. To what do I owe the pleasure? Come to raid the liquor cabinet. I crossed the room, dropping my bag and sinking into the ottoman opposite him. Up close, the lines on his face told stories, deep furrows from boardroom battles. A scar on his cheek from a fall during Dad's wild years. Can't a girl visit without an agenda?
Though.
Yeah. Scotch sounds perfect. He poured 2 fingers into crystal tumblers, the amber liquid glinting like liquid gold. We clinked, and I savored the burn, letting it ground me. This was real. He was real. How's Yale treating you? Still out arguing those trust fund twits? Barely. But that's not why I'm here. I set my glass down, heart hammering. How to broach it without sounding like a lunatic. Grandpa, remember that story you told me about Great-Grandpa Elias? The one where he buried the family fortune to dodge the feds during Prohibition. His eyes sharpened behind the lenses. The other vault. You mean? Under the Hamptons estate? What of it? I leaned in, voice low. What if I told you I think someone's been digging it up? Not literally, figuratively. Siphoning off pieces. Bit by bit. He didn't laugh.
Didn't dismiss.
Instead, he leaned back, puffing his pipe thoughtfully. Eden, my girl, you're sharper than I gave you credit for. But tread careful. Some graves are best left undisturbed. We talked for hours, veiled allusions to Marcus's youthful indiscretions at Harvard. Mom's sudden interest in the estate's maintenance fund. Harlan dropped hints like breadcrumbs, a locked drawer in his desk containing the real ledgers, a private investigator he'd hired in '08 who vanished after sniffing too close. By the time I left, envelope of photocopied docs tucked in my bag, the seeds of alliance were sown. Come back soon, he murmured at the door. And watch your back. The Harpers eat their young. Back in New Haven that night, the frat party raged like a powder keg. Bass thumped from the Delta Kappa house. Red Solo cups littering the lawn like spent shells. Marcus held court on the porch. Blonde hair gelled to perfection. Polo shirt straining over his lacrosse-honed chest. He spotted me weaving through the crowd and bounded down, enveloping me in a bear hug that smelled of axe and entitlement. Eden, you made it. Shots. I played along, laughing as he handed me a Jaeger bomb. Only if you promise not to embarrass me with your 2 left feet dancing.
Deal.
His eyes scanned the crowd, landing on Liam, who hovered awkwardly by the keg. Who's the suit? Your latest conquest. Just a friend. I sipped, the bitter fizz masking my calculations. Poli-sci TA. Smart guy, might be useful. Marcus grinned. Wolfish. Harper women and their projects. Remember Aunt Lydia? Thought she could reform that pool boy. The mention of Aunt Lydia hit like a gut punch. In my old life, her car accident in 12 had been ruled a DUI, but I'd always suspected tampering, brake lines cut after she confronted Mom about irregularities in the trusts. Yeah, I said evenly. Tragic waste. Speaking of, you hear from her lawyers lately? That inheritance squabble. His smile faltered. Just a flicker. Water under the bridge.
Sis.
Why dredge it up? Because family's all we've got. I clinked my cup against his, toasting to the lie. As the night blurred, shots flowing, bodies grinding to flow Rida, I maneuvered. Pulled Liam into a beer pong game. Let Marcus accidentally spill the beans on family lore, the Prohibition Vault, the rumored millions in bearer bonds. Liam's interest peaked, questions probing like fingers in a wound. By 2 a.m., as couples stumbled off to hookups, I slipped away, head spinning not from booze but strategy. Phase 1. Infiltrate.
Check. But sleep evaded me.
Back in the dorm, I pored over Grandpa's docs under the desk lamp, yellowed receipts, cryptic notations.
Emash.
50K came in. Marcus's initials. The theft had started earlier than I thought, back in undergrad. Rage simmered. A slow boil. This wasn't just money, it was legacy. The empire I'd slaved to protect while they picked it clean. Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving. I had a decision to make, one that'd set the tone for the war ahead. Confront Marcus now. Risk tipping my hand? Or let the rot fester? Gather more ammo? My fingers traced the scar that wasn't there. Ghost pain flaring. No half measures. I'd start small, an anonymous tip to the Yale Alumni Network about irregularities in the Harper Scholarship Fund, Marcus's pet project. Let the whispers begin. Little did I know, as I hit send on the encrypted email from a burner account, that Liam was already texting Marcus. Your sister's intriguing. What's her angle? The web was spinning, and I was right in the center, spider and fly in one. The first crack in Marcus's armor came 2 weeks later, during Parents' Weekend. I'd timed it perfectly, Mom and Dad flying in from the city. All smiles and performative pride. The Hamptons estate prepped like a stage set for the Great Gatsby redux. In my first life, this had been the turning point, the weekend I'd announced my engagement to Liam, sealing my fate as the happy little wife, while Marcus maneuvered for CEO. This time, I'd flip the script. The drive from New Haven was a blur of autumn foliage, fiery reds and oranges mocking the chill in my veins. Liam rode shotgun, his knee brushing mine in that calculated casual way. I'd fed him just enough, hints of family drama, a fabricated sob story about pressure to perform, to hook him. You're not like the others, he'd murmured last night over pizza in my room, his hand lingering on mine. Bullshit, but useful bullshit. Ever been to the Hamptons? I asked, eyes on the road. Once, on a friend's yacht. Felt like crashing a country club. He shifted,
Glancing at me.
Your folks sound intense. Intense is polite. Try toxic. I let vulnerability creep in. The actress in me shining. Mom's got this way of making you feel like you're auditioning for her affection. Dad just observes. He nodded. Sympathetic.
Perfect.
By the time we pulled up the oyster shell drive, gravel crunching under the tires, he was primed to observe me, the underdog heiress fighting for her slice. The estate sprawled like a sleeping giant, white clapboard mansion with black shutters. Infinity pool overlooking the Atlantic. Stables where Dad kept his polo ponies. Mom, Victoria Harper, née Vanderbilt offshoot, waited on the veranda, pearls gleaming against a cashmere twin set, her smile as sharp as her bob haircut. Darling, and who's this? Liam Ellis, I said, linking arms with him.
My
Study partner. Her eyes flicked over him, appraisal complete in seconds. Charmed. Marcus is inside. Darling the caterers.
Come.
Let's not keep the champagne waiting. Dad was in the library, nursing a highball. His once athletic frame softened by years of mergers and martinis. Eden girl. He rose, pecking my cheek. Brought a bow? Bold move. Not a bow, Dad. Just a friend. I hugged him back, inhaling the familiar pipe tobacco. In another life, he died quietly of cancer during my trial, too ashamed to visit. This time, I'd save him or damn him, depending. Marcus emerged from the French doors, tray of flutes in hand, his grin megawatt.
Sis.
And the mystery man. Liam.
Right?
Heard you're crushing it in TA land. Liam shook hands. All bro vibes. Marcus. Eden speaks highly of you. Lies. All lies. Marcus winked. But I caught the undercurrent possessiveness, like a dog scenting a rival on his turf. Cocktails flowed into dinner. Lobster bisque. Rack of lamb. The ocean roaring accompaniment beyond the terrace. Conversation danced on eggshells, Mom gushing about the fall gala, Dad grumbling over publishing slumps, Marcus name-dropping his latest Wall Street internship. I played the part, attentive daughter, witty sidekick, dropping barbs that landed just shy of cuts. So, Marcus, I said over dessert. Fork poised over creme brulee. That scholarship fund, alumni buzzing about some discrepancies. Audits or something. The table stilled. Mom's spoon clinked against porcelain. Dad cleared his throat. Marcus's laugh was a beat too late. What? The Yale Whisper Network? Bunch of bored rich kids. It's fine.
Eden.
You worry too much. Someone's gotta. I smiled sweetly, glancing at Liam. Right? Oversight keeps things honest. Liam nodded, oblivious. Absolutely. My uncle's a forensic accountant, says family's the worst for creative bookkeeping. Mom's eyes narrowed, a viper-sensing threat. How quaint. Eden, darling, perhaps focus on your studies instead of gossip. But the seed was planted. As coffee was served, Grandpa Harlan arrived, fashionably late, chauffeured from Boston in his vintage Bentley. He swept in like a ghost from my memories. Tweed suit impeccable, cane tapping authority. Victoria. Richard.
Nods.
Then to me, Eden. Looking fierce. As always. Grandpa. I rose, kissing his leathery cheek. He smelled of bay rum and secrets. He settled beside me, accepting a cognac. Conversation thawed, but undercurrents swirled. Harlan dominated, regaling with tales of Elias Harper's bootlegging days, smuggled more hooch than Capone, but with better prose. Laughter rippled. But I saw Marcus fidget. Dad avoid eye contact. After dinner, as guests mingled on the lawn, fire pits crackling, stars pricking the velvet sky, Harlan pulled me aside to the gazebo. Liam hovered nearby, chatting up Mom, but his eyes tracked us. You stir the pot tonight, Grandpa murmured, lighting a cigar. Good. But careful. The fish are biting back. Tell me about the vault.
Grandpa.
For real this time. I kept my voice low, wind whipping my hair. He exhaled smoke, rings curling toward the moon. Elias hid more than money. Documents, blackmail files on politicians, rivals. Leverage that built this empire. Your father. He accessed it once. In 95. Bad decisions followed.
Dad?
My stomach twisted. What kind? Loans to the wrong people. Marcus's tuition came from there, off books. And your mother. She knows. The revelation landed like a slap.
Mom.
Complicit? Of course. She'd always been the architect. Dad the enabler. Marcus the hammer. Why tell me now? Because you're the only one with spine enough to fix it. He pressed a key into my palm, small, brass, etched with a falcon. Boathouse safe. Read. Then burn. I pocketed it. Pulse racing. And Liam? Harlan's gaze sharpened. Test him. Trust no one till they earn it. The night devolved into after-dinner games, charades that devolved into boozy truths. Marcus dared me to shotgun a beer. I did, foam dripping down my chin like war paint. Liam joined, his competitive streak shining. But when Mom cornered him for lineage, Ellis, any relation to the Connecticut Elises? He deflected smoothly. Too smoothly. By midnight, pairings formed, Dad and Marcus retreating to the study for cigar talk, Mom herding female guests inside. I slipped away to the boathouse, key burning in my pocket. The structure loomed dark against the dunes, salt air thick with memory. This was where it ended last time, Marcus's blade, Liam's alibi. I fumbled the lock, heart in throat, and stepped inside. Moonlight slanted through salt-crusted windows, illuminating rowboats shrouded in tarps. The safe squatted in the corner, disguised as a tackle box. The key turned with a click that echoed like gunfire. Inside, a ledger. Brittle pages crammed with entries. Names, senators, CEOs linked to payoffs. And there, in red ink, MH. 200K, 2008. Trust diversion. Marcus. Skimming even then. Further back, RH. Aunt L. Accident, cover 150K. Dad's hand, bile rose. The betrayal stacked like cordwood, family. The very blood I'd bled for. Footsteps crunched outside. I slammed the safe, extinguishing my penlight. Liam's voice. Soft. Eden? You okay? I stepped out.
Forcing calm.
Just needed air. Family gets. Overwhelming. He pulled me close, lips brushing my temple. Tell me about it. Your brother's intense. You have no idea. I let him kiss me then, tentative, exploratory, tasting opportunity. As his hands roamed, I catalogued, pulse steady, no tells of deceit.
Yet.
We rejoined the party, but the air had shifted. Marcus watched me across the firelight, eyes narrowed. Mom whispered to Dad, gestures sharp. Grandpa caught my eye from the shadows, nodding approval. That night, in the guest wing, Liam and I tumbled into silk sheets, bodies urgent under the canopy bed. It was release, calculation, his whispers of, "You're incredible, fuel for the facade." But as he slept, I stared at the ceiling, ledger's ghosts dancing. Tomorrow, I'd leak a snippet to an undergrad rag. Harper Ayres' hazy funds? Anonymous. Untraceable. The backlash hit fast. By Sunday brunch, Marcus cornered me in the sunroom. What the fuck? Eden? That article you're doing? Paranoia doesn't suit you.
Bro.
I sipped mimosa, legs crossed. But if the shoe fits. His face darkened, veins bulging. Stay out of it. or you'll regret it.
Threats.
Music to my ears. Try me. Parents' weekend ended with hugs and air kisses, but the fracture lines glowed. As Liam drove us back, his hand on my thigh, he said, "Your family's a soap opera, more like a thriller." I smiled, but inside, the plot thickened. Grandpa's key had unlocked more than a safe. It cracked the vault of my restraint. Next move, dig deeper into Dad's loans. And if Liam proved false, I'd carve him out like a tumor. Little did I know, the real twist waited in Boston, a package from Harlan. Postmarked urgent, photos of Mom and a shadowy figure. Dated '09. The affair? Or worse, winter descended on the East Coast like a vindictive ex, blanketing Yale in snow that muffled screams, but not schemes. I'd escalated. The undergrad article morphed into a campus forum thread. Harper hypocrisy, with doctored screenshots of Marcus's emails, fabrications based on truth. Vague enough to sting without proof. Whispers followed me to classes, eyes lingering in the dining hall.
Good.
Let the pressure build. Marcus texted sporadically, "We cool?" But I ghosted, forcing him to stew. Liam,
Though, he was all in.
dates blurred into routine, study sessions in his off-campus apartment, overpriced Thai takeout, nights where sex blurred into strategy sessions. "You're changing," he said one evening, tracing patterns on my back as we lay spent amid textbooks.
More.
Guarded. Life hardens you. I rolled to face him, memorizing his micro-expressions. In my old life, he'd proposed with a ring from Tiffany's, funded by my generous prenup. This time, I controlled the narrative. "What about you? That trust fund, mystery money?" He tensed. "Just a fraction. Old family stuff. Nothing exciting." Liar. I propped on an elbow. Playful.
Spill.
Or no more naked debates on Roe v. Wade. He chuckled, but relented.
Fine.
Dad was in publishing, rival to Harper's. Actually, went bust in the '90s. Mom's side had some real estate.
It's
complicated. Rival. The word hung. A red flag. Elias Harper had crushed competitors ruthlessly, buyouts.
Smears.
Had Liam's family been collateral? Revenge motive? I filed it away, kissing him to seal the interrogation. Complicated's my specialty. Christmas loomed. A Harper tradition, the Manhattan penthouse, tree taller than God, catered by Le Bernardin. I arrived early. Train ticket courtesy of Dad's Amex, perks of the game. Mom greeted me in the foyer. Chanel no. 5 cloying as her embrace. Eden. Darling. You've been scarce. Troubles at school. Thriving. Actually, I hung my coat, scanning for tells. The package from Grandpa burned in my purse. Grainy photos of Mom and a man, silver-haired. Familiar. State Senator Hargrove, chair of the Publishing Oversight Committee. Blackmail fodder? Dinner was a minefield, crystal chandelier casting prisms on silver. Dad at head, Marcus opposite, Harlan to my right. Turkey carved with ceremony, wine poured like blood offerings. Small talk skated stocks, scandals in Hollywood until Marcus cracked. Eden's been playing detective, he said. Butter knife spearing peas. Stirring shit online. Thought we were better than that. All eyes swiveled. Mom's fork paused midair. Dad coughed into his napkin. I met Marcus's glare coolly. Transparency's a virtue.
Bro.
especially when funds go poof. Enough. Dad's voice. Rare thunder. Family airs dirty laundry in private. Harlan chuckled.
Low.
Or not at all. If it's rotten enough. He glanced at Mom, who blanched. Pass the gravy. Victoria. Post-meal. The men retired to the den for port and poker. I cornered Mom in the kitchen, where she supervised the staff like a general. Nice photos. By the way. Hargrove, classy. Her back stiffened, hands gripping the marble counter. What are you on about? Don't play coy. Grandpa's got eyes everywhere. I stepped closer. Voice silk over steel. What did you trade for that publishing exemption last year? Favors? Or something steamier? She whirled, face ashen. You little bitch. Spying on your own mother? Learning from the best. I held her gaze, unblinking. Touch me again. And those pics hit the post. Headline: Heiress Mom's Senator Squeeze. Her slap echoed, palm stinging my cheek. Ungrateful. After everything. Everything. I laughed. Bitter. Like framing Aunt Lydia for embezzlement so you could inherit her shares? Or was it the accident payout? She froze, eyes widening fractionally. Jackpot. You know nothing. I know enough. I rubbed my cheek, heat blooming. Stay out of my way,
Mom.
or the vault opens for everyone. I left her sputtering, fleeing to the balcony. Snow swirled over Central Park. City lights a glittering web. Footsteps, Harlan, coat draped over shoulders. Heard the fireworks. Proud of you. Cost me a slap. I touched the welt. Worth it. He handed me a flask scotch. Smooth as lies. The photos? Hargrove's in Marcus's pocket now. Pay to play for a Senate seat down the line. Jesus. Pieces slotted. Marcus's internship at a lobbying firm. The donations.
Dad.
Blind. Or willfully so. Harlan sighed. Breath fogging. Richard's debt from 95. Elias's rivals. One was Ellis. Liam's father. My blood iced. Liam, vengeance spawn? Explains the charm offensive. Or coincidence. But doubt laced his tone. Test him.
Eden.
Hard. New Year's Eve brought the gala. Met Step's red carpet. Gowns and tuxes milling like sharks. I wore emerald silk. Harper green. Liam on my arm. Rented tux straining at the seams. Marcus held court with socialites. Mom air-kissing donors. Dad schmoozing. Harlan lurked. Observing. Midnight countdown. Confetti rained. Lips locked in the throng. Liam pulled me close, murmuring, Happy New Year, future missus. Harper. Wait, what? I disentangled. Champagne fizzing in my veins. Slow down.
Cowboy.
Marriage talk. We barely know each other. He backpedaled.
Flushed. Kidding.
Mostly. But his eyes, hungry, calculating. The slip unnerved me. Back at his place. As fireworks cracked outside, I pushed Ellis and Harper. Old bad blood? He stilled. Shirt half unbuttoned. Heard that rumor? Dad's firm folded after a hostile takeover. Blamed Harper's. Ancient history. History that matters? I traced his jaw. Probing. He caught my hand. Serious. Not to me. To us? Never. Liar or lover. I let it go. Bodies colliding in distraction. But sleep brought dreams. The gurney. Venom burning. Marcus's laugh. I woke sweating, resolve hardening. January thawed into mud. Classes grinding. I hacked the family server, Grandpa's old law clerk contact. A favor called in. Files spilled. Emails between Marcus and Hargrove. Wire transfers to Cayman shells. And Liam? CC'd on one. Innocuous consult. Coincidence? Or complicity? Decision time. Controversial. Gut-wrenching. Leak to the Times, anonymous source. Redacted docs. Harper Empire's shadow ledger. It'd torch bridges. Invite lawsuits. But hesitation meant death, mine. Again. I hit send from a VPN cafe in Brooklyn. Heart pounding. By morning, alerts buzzed. Breaking news. Campus erupted. Protests at the Biz School. Alumni calls flooding Dad's line. Marcus's call came at noon. You fucking did this? I'll destroy you. Try. I hung up, then blocked. But the fallout cascaded. Mom's meltdown voicemail. Dad's plea for family meeting. Harlan texted, well played. But incoming. That night, Liam showed unannounced. Face stormy. Eden. What the hell? Your family's imploding, and you're smiling? I let him in, feigning shock. Not my doing. But justice? Long overdue. He paced. Fists clenched. This could ruin people. Marcus is my friend now. Friend? Rage flared. Since when? Since you introduced us. He stopped. Realization dawning. Wait. You planned this. The mask slipped. I stepped close. Venomous. What if I did? What's your stake? Liam? Daddy's revenge. His face crumpled guilt, not denial. I thought I could play both sides. Get close. Expose the rot from inside. For Dad. Betrayal. Round 2. But softer. Laced with regret. Eden. I love. Out. I shoved him toward the door. Before I make it worse, he left. Tail between legs. Victory tasted ash. I'd pushed too far. Too fast. Isolated myself. But the war demanded sacrifices. As sirens wailed distant, feds raiding the Hamptons, headlines screamed, Grandpa called. They're circling. Mom's talking plea. Marcus fled to the islands. Good. Exhaustion hit. What's next? Twist incoming. Check your mail. The envelope. A DNA report. Mine and Marcus's. 99.9% siblings? No, 50%. Half. Mom's affair with Hargrove. Marcus. The cuckoo in the nest. The world tilted. Everything a lie. Spring erupted in false bloom, cherry blossoms mocking the carnage I'd unleashed. The Times expose snowballed, congressional hearings, SEC probes, Harper Publishing stock cratering like a gutted fish. Dad holed up in the penthouse. Lawyered to the gills. Mom lawyered her way to a spa in Sedona. For her nerves. Marcus? Vanished. Last pinged in Nassau. Law firms circling like vultures. And me? Yale suspended me pending investigation, but Harlan pulled strings, Dean's cousin. Old money magic. I retreated to the brownstone, bunking in the guest room amid law tomes and regret. Liam's texts piled up. We need to talk. Please. I deleted. But the ache lingered, not love, but the what if of a cleaner path. Grandpa nursed me back. Strong coffee. Chess games where he let me win. You've gutted the beast, he said one rainy afternoon. Rain lashing the panes. But beasts bite back. The DNA report haunted me. Marcus, half-brother. Hargrove's bastard. Mom's ambition birthed a monster. Planted to infiltrate. Inherit. Dad knew. The oblivious cuckold act cracked under scrutiny. A locked email from 92. Victoria. The boy's mine in name only. Keep it buried. Rage evolved, less fire. More ice. I needed allies. Enter Sarah Klein, Aunt Lydia's daughter. My overlooked cousin. In my first life, she'd faded into accounting drudgery, bitter at her meager inheritance.
Now?
I reached out via LinkedIn. Coffee? Family history buffs unite. We met at a Soho cafe, her mousy bob and cardigan belying sharp eyes. Eden Harper. The scandal queen. What's the angle? Truth. I slid the DNA report across for Micah. Aunt Lydia died asking questions.
About this.
Her face paled, then hardened. Mom suspected. Break lines, she told me once.
Drunk.
Said Victoria rigged it for the shares. Alliance forged over lattes. Sarah had records, Lydia's diaries.
Digitized.
Entries screamed conspiracy. Mom's threats. Marcus as the spare tire heir. We plotted. Countersuit. Class action from cheated investors. Controversial? Hell yes, dragging family corpses into court. Airing Mom's adultery nationwide. But justice tasted sweet. Meanwhile, Liam persisted. Showed at the brownstone. Rain-soaked. Eyes pleading. I fucked up. But I can help, my uncle's on the inside. SEC leaks. Temptation nod.
Why?
Guilt trip. Redemption. He stepped closer. Vulnerable. And you? I meant it, love. I let him in, not for the man, but the intel. Over Harlan Scotch. He spilled Marcus's Cayman accounts. Hargrove's quid pro quo. In bed that night, it was war counsel, not passion, bodies aligning strategies. Dawn brought clarity. Use him, but chain him. One betrayal. Liam. And you're done. Summer sweltered. Hearings heating the beltway. I testified, poised, damning, exposing the vault's rot without naming names.
Yet.
Mom returned.
Gaunt.
Lawyered by Hargrove's firm. Our reconciliation lunch at the Four Seasons. Her begging. Me stone. End this. Eden. For Daddy. Tears. Genuine? For Lydia? I countered. Or the senator's career? She cracked. Marcus isn't yours. Hargrove's. Happy. Ecstatic. I slid photos, her and Hargrove. Time-stamped. Divorced dad.
Testify.
Or these go viral. Her slap this time was half-hearted. Monster. Mirror. Mom. Dad's breakdown followed. Suicide attempt. Pills in the study. I found him. Harlan calling 911. Hospital vigil. Beeps. Antiseptic sting. He woke lucid. Eyes hollow. Knew about the boy. Thought it made us even. Forgive yourself. I squeezed his hand. Fight now. He nodded.
Frail.
Recovery sparked fire. He flipped. Deposing against Marcus. The empire teetered. But bonds sold to stabilize. My shares? Voted control. Harlan's proxy. Marcus surfaced in August. Extradited from the Bahamas. cuffs glinting in flashbulbs. Arraignment, hollow cheeks. Designer suit rumpled. His eyes met mine across the courtroom. Hate.
Pure.
You did this, he hissed in holding. Family tradition. I smiled for the cameras. But the controversial pivot loomed. Plea deal. DA offered immunity for Sarah's testimony, pin Marcus as the architect. Mom and Hargrove as enablers. But it meant sparing Dad jail time, letting him rebuild on my terms. Mercy or masterstroke? Harlan advised, cut deep, but leave roots. Let him atone. I agreed. Gut twisting. The deal sealed. Headline shifted. Harper prodigy turns state's evidence. Public aided. Villain redeemed? Controversy raged. Op-eds decrying dynastic whitewash. Liam proved golden. Leaks timed to bury Hargrove. Senate seat crumbling. Our relationship deepened real. Against odds. You're my anchor, he whispered post-hearing. City lights from the balcony. Don't sink me. But I meant it less. Fall term reinstated. I returned to Yale a legend, whispered the Avenger. Classes? Breeze. But shadows lingered, anonymous notes in my locker. Not over.
M.
Marcus's trial peaked October. Circus of suits. Gasps at exhibits, the ledger. Lydia's talks report, tampered breaks confirmed. Mom testified. Voice quavering. I protected my son. Jury unmoved. Verdict. Guilty. 25 to life. As marshals led him away, he lunged at the barrier. Half-sister bitch. You'll rot for this. Security swarmed. I stood unmoved. But inside, hollow victory. Grandpa at my side. It's done. Or was it? That night. Liam's phone buzzed unknown. She's next. Join or fall. His face drained. Baby. The twist, not Marcus. Deeper player, Hargrove's fixer. The ghost investigator Harlan hired. Vanished, but vengeful. Liam's uncle. Betrayal 3.0. I grabbed his collar. Who? I cut ties. Desperate. Swear. Test. I called Harlan. Incoming threat. Check the fixer. Minutes later, dead.
Car bomb.
'09. But his partner's alive, your TA's mentor. Liam's eyes widened. No. Gunshot echoed distant. No. Fireworks. Campus Diwali. But paranoia gripped. I shoved him out. Prove it.
Now.
He vanished into night. Mission. Infiltrate or expose. Alone. I clutched the DNA report. Half-sibling. Half-truths. The empire mine. But Pyrrhic, family shards. Trust Ash. Harlan's call. Package. Your father's will, new. Inside. Codicil. To me, everything. But clause. Forgive. Or lose it all. The real vault? Not money, absolution. November's chill bit deeper than betrayal. Frost etching windows like accusations. Liam returned at dawn. Disheveled. USB in hand. Recordings of the fixer. Hargrove's hatchet man, plotting hits. On you. And Harlan. His voice cracked. I turned him in. Feds en route. I scanned files. Timestamps fresh.
Proof.
Why risk it? Because losing you? Worse than any grudge. He collapsed beside me. Spent. This time, belief flickered fragile, but real. We made love then.
Urgent.
Reclaiming. Not strategy. Surrender. The bust hit headlines. Senator's shadow network crumbles. Hargrove resigned, slinking to K Street exile. Mom, divorce papers served. Alimony slashed. She called once, ruined me.
Click.
Dad rallied. Sober. Consulting for the restructured Harper, my Harper. Dinner's tentative, him apologizing, me nodding. Forgiveness? Budding. Proud. Eden girl, he said over turkey tetrazzini. You saved us. From ourselves. Trial's echo faded. Marcus appealed from Attica. Letters venomous. Blood's thicker. Half-breed. Wait for me. I burn them. Ashes to wind. Thanksgiving at the brownstone. Harlan's table groaned. Oysters.
Pie.
Sarah included. Laughter tentative, but genuine. Liam carved bird. Easy in the fold. To second chances, Grandpa toasted. Glasses clinked. Mine held deeper. The reset. The rage. The rebuild. But the twist, the gut punch Harlan hinted, arrived Christmas Eve. Snow-blanketed Beacon Hill. Carols drifting from townhouses. A knock. Courier. Envelope sealed with Elias's falcon. Inside. Letter. Grandpa's hand. Dearest Eden, if you're reading this, I've gone the way of old men, peacefully. I hope. The true secret? Not money. Not blood.
You.
Yellowed photo slipped out. Me. Infant. Cradled by Harlan. Note. Victoria's parting gift, yours truly. Post-affair fallout. Richard raised you as his. But you're mine. Grandson?
No, son.
DNA enclosed. World shattered. Grandpa my father? The scar on his cheek. My aversion to crowds his. The favoritism? Not whim, but blood. Tears blurred ink. Protect the name. But live.
Eden.
Beyond revenge. He'd passed that morning, heart. Quiet in sleep. The patriarch. My anchor.
Gone.
Funeral. Gray skies. Gramercy Park. Harper's in black. Dad eulogized. Voice breaking. Harlan was family. Irony stung. Graveside. Liam's hand in mine. Sarah whispered. He told me. Months ago. Wanted you ready. I nodded. Throat tight. The empire? Mine by double right. But hollow without him. Aftermath. Board crown me CEO. Reforms sweeping, ethical publishing. Scholarships in Lydia's name. Liam proposed properly, simple band. Central Park snow. Partners?
Yes.
Mom faded to Florida. Letters unanswered. Marcus? Life sentence stuck. Dad mentored. Atoning. Years blurred. 2015. Wedding under oaks. Sarah, maid of honor. 2020. Crash hits. Harper Weathers. My foresight. 2025 looms. But no gurney. No smirks. One night. Hampton's boathouse. Ironic pilgrimage. Liam asks. Regrets? None. I trace his ring. Second lives? Best gift. But in quiet, I whisper to Harlan's ghost. Thanks, Dad. For the fight. For the fall. For the rise. The end? Not tragedy. Not unalloyed happy. Redemption's messy, scars. But healed. I walk the dunes. Wind salty. Legacy mine. No more graves. Just horizons.